On behalf of the National Union of Government and Federated Workers and the Women's Executive Council, happy International Women's Day. It gives me great pleasure to share with you my journey in the organization. I am Cecelia London-Chapman, the General Secretary of NUGFW. My journey began more than 3 decades ago, and there are 3 words that come to mind as I think about my journey, as I reflect on the pathway that has led me to this position in the organization. And those words are opportunity, gratitude, and humility. Opportunity because some 36 years ago, I was given the opportunity to work in this great organization. With opportunity comes privilege. I was privileged to work with the founding fathers, the late Nathaniel Elliott Critchlow and the late Selwyn Arthur John. I worked in the hub of the organization, in the Industrial Relations Department, supervised by the then Cecil McNeil in the President General's Department. There is where I learned about the trade union, why it exists, and also learned to appreciate the fight that we were in for the working class. So I put my shoulder to the wheel and I never looked back after that. In the organization, as the years went on, I always sought to do whatever I did to the best of my ability. And this is where gratitude comes in. I was grateful for being given the opportunity in the organization. And I started as a filing clerk and then went to a weekly paid typist in the General Secretary's Department under Mr. Selwyn John as the General Secretary. Having gained that opportunity again, I was grateful for that. And with gratitude, as I said, comes dedication to service. I was dedicated to serve the membership in that capacity. And not only dedication, but I sought to achieve excellence in all that I did. Everything that I put my hand to, I thought I could have improved on what was before me. I gained a lot of experience as I journeyed through the organization. First as a filing clerk, then as a weekly paid typist, working in the Secretariat Department, exposed to that part of the organization, preparation of documents, and also all the necessary day-to-day documents that needed to be typed and sent out to the various ministries, the various corporations that the union were involved with, their shareholders. To the NUGFW Construction Company, an affiliate company of the NUGFW, responsible for building and selling new houses. This was a joint venture with the Seamen and Waterfront Workers' Trade Union. There, Mr. Nathaniel Critchlow, having retired from the union, was now the chairman. I was able to work with the past permanent secretary, Mr. Harold Fraser, as the Secretary Financial Controller of the construction company. So I was there as a monthly paid typist, and from there I was elevated to an executive secretary and then the corporate secretary. I had a great exposure to the construction industry, working along with Trinitoplan Consultants Limited. I worked with the attorneys, I worked with the finance institutions, TTMF in particular, and being exposed in such a way, I was able to gain a vast knowledge of the industry. A wonderful experience seeing persons gain their desire for acquiring a home, and many persons has this as a goal for their future, and being able to assist in this regard brought a lot of joy and satisfaction to me as I worked in the construction company. Also, I worked along with the board of directors as the corporate secretary, making decisions and for the company with regarding acquiring land. So we were able to acquire lands at Valsine, Real Spring Valsine, where we have 276 houses there in a first and second phase, and at the Lopino Housing Development in Aruka, where we built 400 houses, different type of houses, single units, duplex units, and townhouses, which is second to none in the country, affording the low and middle income members of our union to gain their home. From there, I was selected by the present President General, Mr. James Lambert, to vie for the position of General Secretary in the Union's 2019 elections of national officers. This came as a surprise to me on the 3rd of June 2019 when I was called by the President General to assume this position. I had to pray about it because I never anticipated it, and this is where humility comes in. In my journey, I spoke about opportunity, I spoke about gratitude, and now I'm speaking about humility. Being called to this position, I never anticipated it, and I didn't think that I was prepared for it, but all along my life's journey, I realize now that God was preparing me for this place in my journey. You know, one of my favorite writers has said that there is no difficulty in carrying an empty cup. It is when the cup is filled to the brim, then you have to be so cautious in your handling of it. Coming to this position has caused me to recognize the opportunity that has been given to me to be a role model to other women, that they too can come to such a place. They too can aspire to reach to this position in the organization. And it comes to dedication of duty. As I said, I never expected it. However, at every stage of my journey in the organization, I always did my best. And this is what I would encourage every employee to do. Women in particular, do your best. Everyone has a place in this world. And I have learned very early on that in life, there will always be greater and lesser persons than yourself, so that nothing should intimidate you. When I think about setbacks, there was none really as I reflect on my journey, my work life. There were no setbacks. There were challenges, indeed, but I always kept my head up. My father taught me that. Keep your head up at all times, and my mother taught me to be respectful and courteous, and I sought to bring those virtues with me in all my dealings, in all the work that I do, in my dealings with others, in my interactions, to be courteous, to be respectful, and to keep my head up. I realize now that all these stumbling blocks were really stepping stones, and all the challenges prepared me to assume greater responsibility. So I have nothing to be regretful of as I journey through this organization. You would hear stories of women being sidelined, women being ostracized. But this has not been my experience, and I must be truthful. All along my working life, it is the men in the organization who have assisted me, the men who has encouraged me, the men who has supported me all along my journey in this organization, beginning, as I said, with the founding fathers, and now presently with Mr. James Lambert, who selected me to be the General Secretary and continues to give me his support, 110% support. He works along with me, guiding me, imparting to me the knowledge that I would need, because this is new to me. And always there I can go to him. He has a wealth of knowledge, great experience, and I can lean upon him at any time during the performance of my duties so that I can achieve success. And this in no wise limits the work of the women in the organization and their support to me also, especially the supporting staff. And there are those women who went before me, Sister Jacqueline Jack, Sister Joy Bartlett Allen, they made the path easier for me to travel on as women who held this position before. So I am just thankful, I'm grateful, and I am humbled by the experience that I've had in the organization thus far. And I thank God for His goodness towards me. The pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, has affected every institution around the world. And NUGFW faced its challenges also with this pandemic. Our astute President General, Mr. James Lambert, was able to lobby with government so that the trade union movement could be deemed an essential service. And the NUGFW indeed had workers who were considered essential service in the health sector, sanitation workers, nurses, the Defense Force who represent workers there, in the Water and Sewerage Authority, Ministry of Agriculture, and some other institution where we have our members. The union had to make some hard decisions with respect to finances, so some allowances were suspended for a period of time, and not just suspended, but they were cut back. And also, we didn't have a cutback with staff, and that was really good. Our staff remained without any job loss. We continued to battle this virus, COVID-19 virus. We coped by putting in place measures that would have ensured the safety of our staff members while they give service to the membership and members of the public by the physical refurbishment of the workspaces. So everyone was given a cubicle within which to work, and in offices where there were no cubicles, we ensured that there was no more than 3 staff members to a department, rightly spaced out 6 feet as was designated by the Ministry of Health. We also had shields where customers would come in to the customer service representative, our claims clerk. We had put shields in place so that as they interacted, there was not any danger of contracting the virus. In addition, we had placed securities with the temperature devices, the hand sanitizers. We also secured the services of a sanitizing firm that comes in once a week, and they continue to do so while we still struggle with this COVID-19 virus. Once a week in our various offices, they have a routine where they come and sanitize the floors, the desks, the equipment, and all that, ensuring that all persons continue to be safe. The topic of the spike in violence against women and girls and gender-based violence is a very sad and disturbing topic for me as a woman. We have seen this spike in these horrendous crimes against women and girls. And I also want to say that boys are also exposed to these crimes, especially sexual crimes. They have been exposed to abuse also, physical abuse, mental abuse. I think, in my humble opinion, that this didn't start present day. This is something that you must go, say, about 30 years ago. It would find its roots there, and maybe even further back. Why would our men think that they can treat women this way in particular? Where did they get this education from? What did they see? Because we know that a child lives what they learn. What they see is what they will mimic. And I think even with respect to our songs, and we talk about our culture with calypso and soca, and you would hear the derogatory remarks used as, slut in these calypsos and soca songs. And it's always against women. We have music coming in, other genres of music like hip-hop and the Jamaican style music, and it's always women are on the just derogatory side of what is being sung. And even with regarding violence, you see that perpetrated time and time again. You see that being echoed and re-echoed in the songs, in the movies. And this seeps into the home. Because I ask myself, these persons who are perpetrating these crimes, what's with their parents? I'm not hearing what sort of home did they grow up in? What sort of values were they taught, if any at all? And I think that is what is being seen in our society, because the building block of every society is the home. And whatever transpires in the home, it comes out into the society, seeps into the workplace, seeps into the community, even the churches. And this is another thing, that they have just taken God out of everything. And with that, we see the results of today. Not having respect for yourself, value for life, so that you think you can just treat somebody like that and snuff out their life without any sort of conscientiousness, and do these things with impunity. I am saying that our men folk especially need to be re-educated. They need a shift in the way that they view women. And I think we as women can help in that respect by having respect for ourselves, by supporting each other as women, by encouraging each other, by the older women mentoring the younger women, and by fathers teaching their sons through not just the words, but by how they see them treat their mothers, to appreciate, to respect, and to value women. I am happy that in the NUGFW, recognizing this need for men to have a greater understanding of who they are as men and how they can contribute positively to society, how they can contribute positively in the home. The President General, under his patronage, established a men's forum, all in an effort to educate, to support, and to encourage the men of NUGFW. Also, we have the Women's Executive Council, where women come together to support and to encourage each other, where programs are developed to educate and re-educate women as to their self-esteem, their worth, what they can contribute, how valuable they are. On behalf of the National Union of Government and Federated Workers, the President General, Mr. James Lambert, myself as the General Secretary, and also the President of the Women's Executive Council, I wish you a happy International Women's Day 2021. My desire is to see women continue to support each other and to rise, so that in the future there will not be female leaders, but there will be leaders altogether, and there will be no distinction between male and female, but that everyone will be taken according to their ability. There is a saying that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And women, we have really come a long way. Let us continue to press forward so that that glass ceiling will be broken. You have women holding great positions now in the world that was never before. You have women as chancellors, as presidents of countries, and you have women right here in Trinidad and Tobago as ministers, and women who continue to charter the course. We have a woman as our president in Parliament Weeks in Trinidad and Tobago. So we see that we have come a long way, but we still have further to go. Let us continue then to support each other along the way. Let's lift each other up, and together we will be able to reach the place that we should be as women in an organization. I thank you.